your toes up, can you go the other way? So lowering your little toe first, and then your fourth toe, third toe, second toe. So you're just moving slowly through the feet again. Can you pick up your big toe on its own? Can you then lift up your second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and a fifth toe, and then go back the other way? It's really hard work, isn't it? It's really hard work. And like noticing, is it different on one foot to the other? Do you have some toes that move and some that don't? But just bringing your awareness to your feet. Okay, and just knowing how they work, which bits don't work. And I will spare you the foot touch exercise today, because Paula's already said she's going to leave if I do it again. Alright, and then just let your toes relax. We're going to do the top of the foot stretch now. So you're going to take one leg behind and tuck the toes under. And then try and stand tall. So you're making sure that you aren't arching your back, so the ribs want to stay down. And we're stretching out the top of the foot. Make sure that that leg has gone back beyond the front leg. And try and have that leg as straight as you can. Just take a few breaths there. And then do the same on the other side. So the other leg goes back again, tuck the toes under, make sure the leg has gone back beyond the front leg, and try and have that leg straight. Make sure you're not creating tension anywhere else in your body, so check your jaw. Check your neck and shoulders. Make sure you're not making fists with your hands. How much tension are you holding through your quads? Just notice if you're holding excess tension. Let's take it into that rainbow stretch now. So going back to your first side, and then you're just going to roll across the top of your foot. Alright, let's do the other side, same thing, leg goes back, and roll across the top of your foot. So you're right at the toe, knuckles there. Okay, let's do the calf stretch. So grab your half dome or your rolled up towel, whatever you've got, and pop it down on the floor. So you're going to have the ball of your foot towards the top of the dome or the top of the towel, and your heel is down on the floor. And then step your other leg to about hip width apart. If it makes you feel like it's throwing you backwards, just step back a little bit. You don't want to be kind of fighting and creating tension to stay here. You want to be able to relax and kind of let go. So again, check your jaw, check your neck and shoulders. Notice if your weight is shifted to one side, so are you kind of hanging out on one hip? Can you keep your weight really heavy through the heel of the leg that's on the dome, but kind of really centered as well? You don't want to be leaning to one side. And then once that initial stretch is gone, can you step that free leg a little bit further forwards? Maybe you can, maybe you can't, but just notice, can you step it forwards? Checking for tension again, jaw, shoulders. Can you relax your thighs? Can you let the fronts of your thighs relax here? And then we're going to switch and do the same on the other side. So again, ball of the foot towards the top of the towel or the dome, heel down on the floor, and then step your other leg to hip width apart. Making sure it's not throwing you back. If it is, you need to step back a little bit. Again, check in. Can you release any tension anywhere? Have a little look at the outside edges of your feet here as well, and notice whether they are turning out. Can you get the outside edges of your feet straight again here? And that way we're aligning our body so that we are releasing the muscles that we think we're releasing. Again, just checking in with your ribs. Can you step your other foot a little bit further forward? Maybe, maybe not, just see. Again, it could be completely different from one side to the other. We're going to do both legs together. So both feet up onto the top now, so ball of the foot towards the top, heels down on the floor. And we're going to hinge forwards this time. So hinge from your hips, so you're keeping a flat back. Keep your weight back through your heels, you can rest your hands on your thighs. And you'll feel wherever it feels tight, so it might be still around your calves, it might be around your hamstrings, it might be all the way up to your glutes, just kind of see. And then let your head hang here as well. And just take some deep breaths. And when you're ready, we're going to come up and out of that. We're going to take our legs a little bit wider. And we're just going to let our hips go from side to side. So you're allowing your one hip to drop and then the other hip to drop. So just move nice and slow, just a little bit of a hip stretch from one side to the other. And then again, hinge forwards and just do the same thing here. Again, just a little hip stretch. Good. Okay, coming up. So grab your strap now. So we're going to hold the strap in front, palms are facing towards you. Alright, and then we're just going to take the strap up towards the ceiling and lower down. So you're just making sure that as you lift, that your rib cage isn't lifting, rib cage wants to stay down, and we're just lifting the arms and lowering. So just kind of getting a little bit of movement going through your shoulders. And then when you come up towards the ceiling this time, hold it there. And let's just go side to side. And you can let your elbows bend, it's kind of no, we're just moving around here. And then how far behind you can you take your strap without the ribs lifting? How far behind will it go? And that will be really dependent on how wide your hands are. So the wider your hands are, the more room you've got and the more you're going to be able to get it back there. So maybe give yourself, if you've got more space, give yourself a little bit more room. So take your arms super wide. And then can you get that strap further back? And maybe it'll go all the way down. Just play with your mobility of your shoulders. So again, we're keeping the ribs down, we're not allowing the ribs to lift. We're just moving through the arms and the shoulders, maybe go all the way forwards, all the way back. And just play with the range that you have. If you can't get all the way over and back, it doesn't matter, you're just where you are. Alright, and then we're going to do our swooshing again, so arms are nice and wide, and we're spinning the arms, taking that strap behind and all the way around. So nice and controlled. Again, keeping your ribs down. And then can you reverse that and go the other way? And you can do it with your arms staying completely straight. You can do it with a little bit of a bend. Just playing. Alright, and then we're going to take the strap behind us this time, so take it behind you. Double mine over again. And then your palms are going to be facing forwards this time. And the strap, you're holding the strap just a little bit wider than your hips. We're going to take the strap out behind us. How high can you lift that strap behind you? So palms are facing forwards. How high can you take that strap without lifting your ribs or kind of compromising your alignment here. Alright, and then we're going to lift it as high as we can, and we're going to soften our elbows a little bit. So think about just a little slight bend in your elbows, like you're pulling your elbows towards each other. Get your shoulders down away from your ears, and think about pulling your shoulder blades together in your back. That's a lot of work, yeah? And then we're going to hinge forwards again. So from your hips, you're going to fold forwards, and then let your head drop down towards the floor, and let your arms reach towards the ceiling. How high can you get your arms? Keep the shoulders away from the ears, and then just take some breaths there. And when you're ready, we're going to slowly come up and out of that. And you can pop your strap down and just give your shoulders a little circle around in each direction. Good job. Just let your arms just kind of swing free. Choking. Okay, so a little bit of a tree balance then. So we've got our feet hip width apart. You can have your toes down on the floor and your heel is just above your other ankle, and then square off your pelvis, so both hip bones are pointing forwards. And then you're just going to bring this knee in towards the front and take it out. Bring the knee into the front and take it out. We're going to bring our hands into that prayer position. Okay, so as your knee goes out to the side, your hands are going to go the opposite way and then come back into centre. So as your knee goes out, your arms go out. That's it. Alright. And then we're going to try it with our foot coming up a little bit higher. Now you can absolutely keep your foot down on the floor if you want to, but can you lift that foot a little higher? You can have it wherever you can reach it, wherever you feel that you are comfortable. Square off your hips again and it's exactly the same thing. So as your knee goes out to the side, your hands go to the opposite side. See how your balance is on this side, on that single foot. Oh. And if you do need to go near something to hold on, that's absolutely fine. Can you do two more? And then just give your legs a little shake. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So starting with the foot down again, so toes on the floor, heel is just above your ankle. And then square off your hips, so both hip bones are pointing forwards. And we're just going to bring that knee in and out. So we're just taking that leg in and out. And then we're going to add the prayer hands again. So as your knee goes out to the side, the hands go to the opposite side. Just kind of having a play with your balance and your coordination. And then again, if you want to, you can try bringing that leg up a little higher. See how your balance is on this side. You always have one side better. So how stable can you hold your body? Last one. Good job. All right, and then give your legs a little shake. Just do a little prancing of your feet. Alright, we're going to just finish our standing stuff with a little bit of calf raising now. So again, let's have hip width apart and outside edges of your feet are straight. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're working the calves and we haven't got our feet turned out. From here, you're just going to float up onto the balls of your feet and then lower down with control. If you want to, you can add the arms. That helps with your balance. So you're not coming all the way up onto your toes, you're kind of coming more onto the balls of your feet so that you're not coming too far forwards. And controlling it back down. Let's do two more. Control down. Last one. Alright. We're going to go down onto the mat now. So lie down on your front to begin with. So all the way down onto your front while I just drop my screen a little bit so that you can see my mat. Alright. So just lie down on your front and just have your head resting on your hands. And then just take a moment to get into really good alignment here. So your pubic bone is anchored, your tailbone is slightly tucked, which is going to give you a little bit of length through your lower back, and then either legs squeezing together or hip width apart, whichever feels better for you. We're going to go into some hip extension now. So from here, you're going to reach one leg away from you, make that leg as long as you can and allow it to lift away from the mat, and then lower it down. And the same on the other side. Reach the leg, make it as long as you can, and lower it down. So keep switching sides. Notice if your pelvis is wanting to tip as you lift that leg. So are you having to move your pelvis to move your leg? Notice. Try and keep your pubic bone anchored. Notice if your lower back is having to do a lot of work. Can you let your lower back just be soft and relaxed? Reach that leg, make it as long as you can. Notice if you're bending that leg and keeping the knee down. Can you lift the knee away from the floor? Good, 2 more. And then we're just going to push ourselves up and back and stretch out the lower back a little bit. So just come out of that and stretch. And then we're going to go back onto our front again. And we're going to do dart arms this time. So again, pubic bone anchored, legs long. You're going to take your arms down by your sides and palms are facing in towards your sides. Your head can rest on the mat or it can hover just off the mat. But we want length through the back of the neck, so no creases in the back of the neck. We're going to reach both arms behind us like we just did when we were lifting that strap, but this time the palms facing towards each other and then lower down. Same thing again, you're reaching your arms behind and then lowering back down. Notice if when you lift your arms they are widening. Try and keep them the same distance the whole time. So imagine that you're holding a block between your hands. Notice if when you lift your arms, your rib cage is wanting to thrust into the floor, and try and keep that rib cage pulled in so that you aren't pressing your bottom ribs into the floor. We're going to do 2 more. And then we're going to take it to a single arm, so just one arm reaches back now. Same side, keep going, single arm. Switching sides. Last one here. And then just allow your arms to just relax down. Let your arms just come around to the front and just rest your forehead on your hands for a moment there. Okay, we're going to take it into breaststroke next. So you can do this with or without a little bit of back extension. So let your hands go. You're going to have your hands just in front of your shoulders. Palms are facing in towards each other. Okay, so we're going to reach both arms forward, straight out in front of you. Turn the hands so the palms face out. Circle your arms around towards your hips. And if you want to, you can add a little back extension, lifting your chest away from the floor. You're going to circle your arms back to your sides and slide them up the sides of your body as you lower your back down. Let's have the breath this time. So we inhale as we reach the arms forwards. We exhale as we circle the arms down and release all the way through. So just move with your own pace. You don't have to go fast. Nice and controlled. Keep your pubic bone anchored. You can add the back extension if you wish, or you can just keep your back down and just do the arms and the shoulders. Do one more time. Good job. And then you're going to push yourself up and back into your rest position again. Just give your lower back a little bit of a release and a chance to have a little stretch. Good. We're going to go back onto our front again. We're going to stretch out the inner thigh. So we're going to do that prone inner thigh stretch. So back onto your front again. So you're bending one knee out to the side. Trying to keep your pelvis level and trying to keep your hip bones close down to the floor as you can. So if you have a lot of tension in your hips, that hip bone will lift away. So try and find some space and relaxation through the hip so that it can rest back down. Notice if you've had to hitch that hip up as well. Can you think about sending that hip away from you so that you're keeping length through both sides of your waist and your hip bones are still level? And you can just rest. You can rest your forehead down. You can just take some deep breaths and just allow your body to release any tension through the hip, to release any tension through your inner thigh. And you just get to hang out and enjoy yourself. How about if we straighten that leg out then? So rather than having that leg bent, it's now out straight, same side. Notice again, has your hip lifted away from the floor? Can you find space to allow it to release back down? Sliding that leg in. Let's do the same on the other side. So taking the other knee out to the side. Once it's there, think about, have you got length through both sides of your waist? Have you hitched that hip up? And can you find space, allowing your hip to relax back down? And then straightening that leg out. Just a couple more breaths here. And then when you're ready, bring that leg back in. And again, push yourself up and back. Just find that rest position, just to give your lower back a little stretch. So we're going to use our strap again. We're going to lie onto our back and do the strap stretch next. So when you're ready, you're just going to pop the strap around your foot. It wants to be at the base of your toes so that you can pull the front of the foot towards you. And then lengthen your other leg out long on the mat. You're going to press the heel away from you, lengthening the back of the leg.
And the leg that's on the mat, do your best to get the back of that leg down onto the floor as well. So it might mean you have to lower your other leg down a little bit, that's fine. And you should be in a neutral pelvis. So again, hip bones and pubic bone are on the same level. And then really pulling the front of the foot towards you. Letting that leg that's in the strap just be super heavy, so just let it be floppy. And then bring it across your body, if that feels okay for you. If it doesn't feel good, just keep it in centre. And then bring that leg back in centre. We're just going to switch that strap on to the other side, so switch legs. And again, your free leg is out long, pressing the heel away. Trying to get the back of that leg down into the mat. The leg in the strap is heavy. Pulling the front of the foot towards you. And if it feels okay for you, bringing that leg across your body. And then just bring that leg back into centre. Okay, we're going to release the leg and you can pop your strap down. We're going to take it into our cobbler stretch now. So soles of the feet are together. Round two. Soles of the feet together, knees out to the sides. Alright. Just allowing, again, releasing the inner thighs, opening out the hips. Take the arms up towards the ceiling now, so palms facing in towards each other. Interlace your fingers and flip the hands over, pressing the palms to the ceiling to stretch into your hands. Take a look at your hands and notice if the hands are kind of flat. Can you really push through your fingers to like make an archway so that the stretch goes all the way into your hands rather than kind of stopping at the wrist? So can you really create like an archway? And then release your hands, and you're going to interlace them again, but do it the opposite way. So if I look at my finger now, my left first finger is free, so I'm going to switch it over so that my right first finger is free. So just kind of do it wrong, and then do the same there, so pressing your hands towards the ceiling, and it just feels completely wrong. And again, can you push through your hands and try and create like an arch rather than it being flat? Okay, now, with our fingers the wrong way, like this, we're going to take those arms overhead. Try and keep your ribs down, keep pressing into your hands, and that's kind of stretching all kinds of different bits that we don't normally stretch. When you're ready, slowly bring your hands back up towards the ceiling. Bring your fingers apart, give your fingers a wriggle. Get as much space between each finger as you can. And then circle your wrists around. And reverse, go the other way. And then can you gently pull each finger back in turn, just to give your fingers a stretch. Wriggle. just let your hands relax down. Oh, okay. So we're in this cobbler position, but can you just rock your legs kind of side to side in this cobbler? Like a little rocking cobbler. Alright, and then we're going to bring our knees in towards our chest. One hand on the top of each knee, and we're going to open the knees out and circle around. So we're doing those little knee circles. And then reverse. And then can you do some circles without using your hands? So can you circle those legs without using your hands? And reverse, go the other way. Okay, and then allow your feet to come down on the floor. Okay, so something between your knees to squeeze now. So your towel, your half dome, a block, a cushion, whatever you've got. Pop something between your knees. And we're going to just do that knee squeeze exercise. So again, make sure your pelvis is in a neutral position. So hip bones, pubic bone on the same plane. Little tiny space under the small of your back. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, squeeze the knees together. Inhale as you release. Again, on your next exhale, squeeze the knees together and inhale to release. Keep going. Squeezing on the exhale, releasing on the inhale. Just move with the speed of your breath, don't try and go too quickly. Good. Two more. Squeeze and release. And squeeze and release. We're going to get rid of that now, so pop whatever you've got just away from you. We're going to bring our legs into tabletop. And then we're going to take the legs up towards the ceiling. Back of your pelvis is anchored, and try and find the point at which your ankle and your knee is stacked directly over your hip. So there should come a point at which your legs feel weightless. If your hamstrings are really tight and you need to bend your knees a little bit, that's fine. You're going to just stack your knee over your hip. But can you, if you can get your legs straight, can you find the point at which it almost feels like there's no effort to hold your legs here? So you might have to play with bringing them closer and further away from you a little bit. And let them be about hip width apart so that the weight is coming down onto your hip sockets. And then looking at your legs, can you turn them in and out? So the heels come together and then the toes come together. So turning your thighs into that internal and external rotation. If it bothers your back, you can place your hands under your pelvis just to give your pelvis a little bit of support if it's bothering your back. Legs turn in and out, in and out. Working those deep hip rotators. And we're making our hips bear weight as well. They're bearing the weight of our legs. Good. Just a couple more there. It's a lot of work. Alright, and then bring your knees into your chest, give your knees a little hug, and just rock gently side to side. We're going to move on to working our quads now, working the front of our thighs with that patella centering exercise. So we're going to place the feet back down on the floor and lengthen your right leg out long on the floor. Bring your legs together so they're hugging in towards the midline so that you can feel the legs just touching. And again, check that you are neutral pelvis, tiny space under the back. Take a breath. And as you exhale, you're going to reach your right leg away from you. Make that leg as long as you can and it will start to lift just until the legs are the same height, legs are level. And then inhale as you lower down. So you're moving on your exhale again. Lifting as you exhale, lowering as you inhale. Notice if your pelvis is wanting to tip back. And try and keep your pelvis still and quiet. But really reaching that leg, making that leg super heavy and super long. Good, one more time on this side. And then we're just going to switch and do the same on the other side. So switching legs. Again, make sure your pelvis is level, tiny space under the back. Take a breath and exhale as you lift the leg. And inhale as you lower. Reach that leg, make it as long as you can. So you're only lifting that leg just until the knees are at the same height. So don't lift it too high, just so that the knees are at the same height. And make that leg super long, keep reaching it away from you. It's like the heaviest leg in all of the world. It should feel like a lot of effort to lift the leg. 2 more. Alright, and then we're going to switch sides again. Turning out from the hip this time. And exactly the same. As you exhale, we lift. As you inhale, lower. Remember to notice how much weight you're putting through your standing foot. So the foot that's in the mat, can you unweight that foot so that you aren't pressing it down? Keep your legs in towards the midline. Notice if that leg's wanting to go out, wandering to the side. Keep it into the centre. Just should just be brushing past the other one. Ooh, let's do one more. And then switching sides again, turning out. Reach the leg long. And lift on the exhale. You're creating your own resistance. You're reaching that leg and imagining that that leg is super heavy, which it is. It's heavy. Check in how much weight are you putting through that standing foot. Can you unweight that foot? Good. Two more. Last one. And then when you lower, go back into your cobbler again. Soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. And again, you can just rock if that feels good to you, or you can stay still if you prefer. Alright, let's go on to our side for some side legs now. So lie along the back edge of your mat, which is going to give you some really good alignment. Your bottom arm can be out long, or you can have your head propped in your hand, and then kick your legs forwards to the front edge of your mat so you're not in a straight line. Make sure that your hips are stacked one on top of the other, and then we're going to lift and lower that top leg. Really reach that top leg away from you, make it as long as you can, and make sure as you lift and lower that you aren't collapsing into your waist. So think about sending that hip away from you. We're going to do 2 more. And then we're going to do circles. So reach that leg away and circle. And reverse. Alright, and we're going to take it into our développé now. So we're going to point the toes of the top foot, and we're going to slide that top foot along the inside of the bottom leg. Bring it in as high and as close to you as you can, and then you're going to straighten that leg up towards the ceiling. Once it's up there, you're going to flex your foot and then lower the whole leg down. Once it's down again, you're going to point your toe, slide that top leg up the bottom leg, bring it as high as you can, and then straighten that leg to the ceiling, flex your foot and lower it down. One more like that, point the toe, slide it up, get it as high as it will go, and then straighten your leg, flex the foot and lower all the way down. We're going to reverse it, so keep that foot flexed and kick it up towards the ceiling this time. Bend the knee, point the toe, and then slide it down the leg. Flex the foot and kick it up. Bend, point the toe, slide it down. Do one more time, flex the foot, kick it up. Bend and slide it all the way down. Good job. All right, we're going to stretch out that hip, so come on up to seated. Like you've just been working, bring it in towards you and cross it over to the other side. Sit as tall as you can and then twist towards that bent leg. You can use your other arm to scoop that knee towards you and stretch. And we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So when you're ready, again lie along the back edge of your mat and then kick your legs forwards to the front edge. Make sure your hips are stacked, send that pelvis away so that you aren't collapsing into your waist. And we're going to start to lift and lower that top leg again. Keep reaching. Two more. And then we're going to take it into circles. Reach the leg long and circle around. You can make the circle as big or as small as you like, as long as it's nice and stable, nice and controlled. And reverse. And then we're going to do a little développé on this side. So point the toes. Slide it up that inside leg. Bring the leg as high as you can and then straighten it out. Flex your foot and lower it down. Again, point the toe. We're going to do 3 in each direction like we did on the other side. One more this way. Good job. Keeping the foot flexed. Kick it up to the ceiling. Bend the knee. Slide it down. Good job, last one here. And all the way down. Good job, let's stretch out that hip. So coming up to seated. Again, the leg you've just been working, bring it in. Cross it over to the other side and sit as tall as you can. Twist towards that bent leg and use your other arm to scoop the knee in. And take a few breaths there. Alright, go back onto your back now, so lie yourself down. Arms out to the side, palms are facing up towards the ceiling for your spine twist. Feet and knees are together, and feet are down on the floor. Take a breath, and as you exhale, both knees are going to roll gently to one side. Inhale through centre and exhale over to the other side. So just move with the speed of your breath. Try and keep the backs of your shoulders and the back of your rib cage anchored into the mat so that it's just your pelvis that's twisting side to side and your rib cage doesn't shift. Giving more of a twist through the waist. And then pausing in the centre, bringing your legs into tabletop and do the same here. So don't go as far because it's much harder without your feet down on the floor. But can you do side to side? If this feels too much, just go back to having your feet down, that's fine. Have a little try. So it's much harder work for your abdominals to stabilise and support you. Again, try and keep your shoulder blades in the back of your rib cage anchored so the movement is through the waist. Good. When you come back into centre this time, allow your feet back down onto the mat and take your feet wide to the edges of your mat for windscreen wipers. Both knees roll to one side. Inhale through centre and exhale over the other way. Really giving your hips a nice stretch, and if it feels good to you, you can let your head turn to the opposite side of your knees. Just move with the speed of your breath. Good. When you come back into centre this time, you're going to straighten your legs out long. Reach your arms overhead and make yourself as long as you can and stretch from your fingertips to your toes. Let's take it into our crescent stretch. So walk your feet to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right. And then walk your arms and your upper body also to the right. So you're in that banana shape here. Feel free to stay here, or you can cross your left ankle over your right. And with your right hand, you can grab your left wrist and just give it a little pull. Keep the ribs down. So you're lengthening the left side of your body, trying to create more space and more stretch. Take a few deep breaths into the left side of your rib cage, trying to really feel the rib cage expand and stretch all the muscles between the ribs. When you're ready, just let your arms go. Walk your feet back into centre. I'm going to go to the other side, so walk your legs to the left this time. To the left, to the left, to the left. Arms up and overhead, and then again walk your arms and upper body also to the left. And you can stay here, or you can cross your right ankle over the left. And grab your right wrist with your left hand. Give it a little pull. Keep the ribs down. And again, think about creating space down the right side of your body. Taking some deep breaths into the right side of your rib cage. Can you feel your ribs expand, opening out like a fan? And then when you're ready, slowly walk your legs back to centre, bring your arms back down, just move super slow. Bending your knees one at a time, and then bringing your knees into your chest. And you can just rock gently, side to side. When you're ready, we're going to come on up to seated. Take your time. And just come on up to seated. Just give your shoulders a little circle. And the other way. Just gently turning your head side to side. And we're going to twist the whole body, so twist your whole body one side. Let your hand come down, one hand onto your knee, the other hand behind you, just to give you even more of a little twist. And then come back through centre, same on the other side, twist. Let your hands come down to give you just a little bit more twist. Come back into centre, a little bit of a side bend now, so reach your arm up towards the ceiling. Lengthen the side body and take it over. Ribs stay down. Release that hand, the other arm comes up. Again, lengthen and take it over. Stretch. And release. Good job. Alright guys, you are done.